John D. Rockefeller, the richest man of all time, used to celebrate not only his birthday, but also the day on which he started his first job. He was a bookkeeper. I forgot exactly where, but he was a bookkeeper because he said that this first job eventually led him to starting his business, Standard Oil, which eventually made him the richest man in the world and now of all time. I also think that there are some days that we need to celebrate. For example, for me, one of those days is the one on which I started to invest. That was exactly 6 years ago, on the 16th of March 2016. So today I'm going to talk about why I started investing and how these 6 years went on. Every year I make such a video, and every year, of course, it's going to be less and less details, because when I made the first video, my first 3 years of investing, I could talk a lot about investing in those 3 years. But now 6 years, there's more information to put, but in only the same amount of time. So of course, this video is going to be less detailed, but I believe it is important to talk about my experience and also what I intend to do next in the next 6 years, in the next 60 years. Because remember, this is a long-term game. Before we go into details and talk about this, please make sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. If you are new to the channel, my name is Ishfaaq. I am an elite popular investor on eToro. Please make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss the upcoming videos. Why did I start to invest? I was in Russia at the time. Fortunately, I'm not in Russia anymore, but at the time, 6 years ago, I was in Russia. I moved to Russia in 2013, as soon as I finished high school, because I wanted to be a physicist. And the issue I had was that I didn't have enough money to go to somewhere better. So I got a scholarship to study in Russia, so I moved to Russia to study physics. More precisely, I wanted to be a theoretical physicist. But my money troubles did not go away. They were still here. Even though I was studying physics, I was happy. My money troubles were still here. And I thought to myself, where's the one place in the world where you can literally print money out of thin air? That's Wall Street. So that's when I decided to start trading. Trading, not investing. I first started trading. So I was looking for all these brokers. How do I start trading? I was planning before even starting. So I was looking at the market every day. This is not what I do today, but at the time I was doing it, I was taking notes of how stocks were moving on a daily basis. This is not something I do anymore. But at the time, even before I started investing, trading actually, I was already doing this. And I went to the bank in Russia, Sberbank. Does this bank still exist? I don't know. But I went there and asked them to open a brokerage account. They told me that I could not because I was not a citizen of Russia, so I could not open a brokerage account with them. I went to another bank and they told me that I needed a minimum of $10,000 to open an account, which I didn't have at the time, of course. Then I remembered seeing this ad from eToro. I saw the ad actually on the page of Sberbank because they were a partner to Sberbank at the time, a sponsor. Sberbank was sponsoring them. So I saw this ad from eToro and I decided to give it a try. And that's when I started trading. First it was with oil, forex, even stocks. I was trading, I was using a lot of leverage, I was trying so many things, trying to make as much money as possible, as fast as possible. But as you know, I lost a lot of money. My first 6 months investing, not really investing, trading, I was already down 28%. But in those 6 months, even though I was losing money, I was also reading. I was studying how to become a better investor. And that's when I learned about compound interest. And as Warren Buffett likes to say, if you understand it, you cannot, I don't remember the exact words, but what he said, that if you understand compound interest, either you understand it or you don't. If you understand it, of course, you'll be rich. If you don't understand it, it doesn't matter how much it is explained to you, you will never understand it. But fortunately for me, I did understand compound interest, and I did understand what Warren Buffett talks about, his investment philosophy. And I decided that this was working for me. I did not have to wait. It was interesting. I really wanted to invest. Even though in the short term, maybe I had still had money troubles, I figured out that maybe I can invest for the long term. That's what really matters, because I don't want to be an investor. At the time, I did not want to be one. I wanted to be a physicist. So it would not be an issue for me. I was trying so many things. I was writing a novel, so many things I was trying at the time. So it would not be such a problem for me to start investing, and then maybe after 20 years I can make a lot of money and use that money to do something else. But the more I read about investing, the more I familiarized myself with the subject, the more I loved it. And at some point I was doing it like part-time. And on eToro, since you have the possibility of being copied by someone else or becoming a popular investor, I became one. About a year after I first started, I started in March of 2016. In April of 2017, I already became a popular investor, and soon enough, I was being paid by eToro. So I was making that income, extra income, which was much more than with what I was being paid before. Because when I started with $100, which was half of what I was being paid. My only source of income at the time was my stipend from the university. That's all. But now I was making $500. Then it became to $1,000. Of course, I was happy, and I said to myself, "What's the use of continuing to study physics when I can make so much money here?" Maybe you might answer this question saying that it's something I love. What should I not do it because I'm making money somewhere else? It's actually not true that you love something, you have to do it. You need to know how to do it well. So instead of me just studying, because when I was investing, I got to know about entrepreneurship. I learned about so many entrepreneurs, how businesses were built. It got me an idea. Instead of me just learning how things work, how the universe works, maybe I can invest into something. I can build something that actually changes people's lives, changes the world. That's why I decided that it's not really such an issue for me not to be a physicist anymore. I can still be an investor, and eventually we have to invest in nuclear fusion, for example. I know very well how a nuclear reactor works, but this is a technology we don't have yet. This is something that needs investments. So maybe one day I can invest in it because I know how it works. We don't have investments today because many people don't know how it works, but I know. That was a life-changing moment for me. It was already 2018, my last year of university. I applied to several universities to do a master's degree. I even got a proposal from the University of Cambridge, but of course I needed money to go there. I applied for the Gates scholarships, which I did not get, so I could not go there. So my only solution was to come back to my country, which I did in 2018, and to continue investing, not knowing for how long. Eventually, what I planned to do, I was also trying high ticket closing, which did not work. So I lost a lot of money in that, a lot of time. I invested $3,000 into a stupid course, which did not work. It was a scam, but it taught me a lesson to be more careful. And $3,000 at the time was a lot of money. Still a lot of money, but at the time, it was really a lot of money. So this is the story. Now I'm investing full-time, a full-time investor, popular investor on eToro. And I have developed other businesses around investing. For example, my research partnership. Now let's talk about my investments itself. I told you that initially, I was trading. And then I became an investor knowing about value investing, about Warren Buffett. But how did I manage to recover in 2017? It's not really because of Warren Buffett, not really because of value investing. There is some luck there. I invested also in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I know that it may surprise you today, but at the time when I was new, I invested 5% of my portfolio in this. But I bought Bitcoin at $900 and I sold at $19,000. So you see, I made a huge profit on Bitcoin. I bought Ethereum at $28 and sold at $750. So I made huge profits on those. But it's not only this. That's one of the reasons why I was able to recover my loss after that. But I also invested in Apple. In 2016, Warren Buffett was buying Apple. The stock was down. It had a PE ratio of 10. I was new to investing, so PE ratio at the time was something very important to me. And I invested heavily in Apple. It was more than 20% of my portfolio. And then Apple recovered and my portfolio recovered. So these are the two main drivers of my portfolio, how I was able to recover in 2017. I made 120% returns in 2017 from Bitcoin and Ethereum and also from Apple. It's not only important to know when to buy, it's also important to know when to sell. So why did I sell Bitcoin at the peak? actually sold at the peak. It's because when I was reading about Warren Buffett, about Jamie Dimon, they were saying that these do not have any intrinsic value. I realized that if I wanted to be a value investor, I have to be a full-time value investor, looking at fundamentals, not doing something random there. I was new at the time, I was trying many things, but I should not try this because I realized that really Bitcoin doesn't have any intrinsic value. And I sold. Do I regret selling? No, because immediately after that, Bitcoin crashed to 3,000. Maybe you will say that I should have bought, but I'm not sad that I did not buy Bitcoin because I got other investments later. For example, Freeport McMoran, and of course, the best investments ever, better than Bitcoin, GameStop. And that was a pure value play. GameStop was really the one investment that made me realize that actually I'm doing something that I'm very good at. That was GameStop. Because I started talking about the short squeeze even before it became famous. When you start in 2019, if you were searching on YouTube GameStop, I was the only person making videos about GameStop. And I was already talking about the short squeeze, about GameStop buying back share, that it was a deep value stock. I was explaining so many things, and it happened about a year later. I made 3,000% profits. Some people might say that I got lucky, but I just did my homework. And I understood that day when I made so much money on GameStop. And once again, I knew when to sell at the peak. I sold at the peak. And I understood that day that I'm really good at what I do and I should keep doing it. So what's next? Now, of course, after GameStop so far, I did not find any great investments, you may say. It's okay. It is a long-term game. And I'm not rushing to find the next GameStop. It has to take some time. You make your research, you make your analysis. You don't have to rush and find the next GameStop. I made some mistakes. I'm still making mistakes. Do you was one. I should have taken profits on Do you when it got overvalued. I did not. You may say Julian is another one. I recently made a big loss in Polymetal International. I won't call it a mistake because that was outside my control. A war that's outside your control. You cannot do anything about it. But I'm still learning. I'm still reading security analysis, the letters of Warren Buffett. I'm still learning. And of course, I know for sure that in 6 years, I have improved so much in these 6 years that in the next 6 years, I'm going to improve more. So when I'm making the video, my first 12 years of investing, I'll be a little older, but there's going to be more to talk about. I'm sure there are going to be better stories than GameStop. Maybe I will mention it, but there are going to be better stories. So what's coming next? As I told you, I want to focus being 100% full-time investor for the time being. And hopefully I want to develop some businesses out of this. Because now on eToro, I can invest for myself, for other people. I'm managing assets for other people. But I want to expand this. I want to be a hedge fund manager one day. By hedge fund manager, I don't mean that I'm going to charge 2%. We'll find something maybe like Warren Buffett did, the partnership, which I believe is much better. So I want to manage more money. On eToro, I like how eToro works, that anyone can have a sort of access to hedge funds, because when you're a popular investor, you're sort of hedge fund manager. It's great, but there are things that you cannot really do on eToro. For example, you don't have the right to vote. So your votes are going to be voted by eToro. And I have a portfolio outside eToro because when I made so much profits on GameStop, all my income is increasing. I cannot take all that money, invest it in eToro. It's going to disrupt my copiers. So what I do is that I take that money, I invest it somewhere else. Everything I make, most of my income is reinvested. So I invest it somewhere else, and there they send me the proxy statements. They have to vote for directors, for mergers. These are things that I like to do. And hopefully one day I can do that with other people's money. So this is my plan for the future. Of course, I will stay on eToro. As I told you, I like how it works. But there are things that are limited there. And if you want to be a hedge fund manager, you can be both at the same time. And eventually, my aim, of course, is to move to the US. I don't know when it will happen, but hopefully it will happen. I know most of my viewers are from the US. So if you're watching right now, maybe in a few years we can meet. So these are the first 6 years for me as an investor. So let me know in the comments how many years have you been investing. If you have any interesting stories to share, please share it in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share. Please watch these two videos if you have missed them. Have a nice day and goodbye.